All right, guys, welcome to part 3 of your 2.1 textbook, page 54 and 55 series. For this question here, take a minute, read through it, and try to figure out which turtle went deeper into the ground. So you have a turtle, the box turtle, that hibernates in the sand at -1 5/8 feet. The spotted turtle hibernates at -1 16/25 feet. Which turtle is deeper? Believe it or not, this is an absolute value question. So once you figure out both decimal values for the two fractions, take the absolute value and figure out which number is bigger, and that's your solution. So take a minute, pause, and try to answer the following question. And here I'm going to begin with the solution. So we're going to start with the box turtle. We're going to take -1 5/8, and I'm just going to take the -1 and carry that over, and I'm going to convert 5/8 into a decimal. So 8 can't go into 5, so I add 0.0. 8 goes into 56 times. We get 48 with 2 left over. Add a 0 and bring down. 8 goes into 22 times. That gives you 16 with 4 left over. Add another 0. 8 goes into 40 5 times with nothing left over. Decimal goes straight up. So we get -1 and 625 thousandths. If you need to, pause the video here because I will be deleting the work off to the right. Okay, and now we have the spotted turtle. Okay, and we have -1 and 16/25. So the -1 will be brought over. And I'm going to take the 16/25. Now the easiest way to do this, since the denominator is 25, I'm going to times this by 4 to get 100. And 16 times 4 is 64. So 64/100 is just the same as 0.64. So I get -1.64. Now, do you notice in the first decimal there are 3 decimal places? And in my answer down here in red, there's 2. To make it look like there's 3, I can just add a 0. So now I'll take the absolute value of these two, and I'm going to get 1.625. So I'm talking about depth. Depth is distance. And 1.640. I'm going to compare place values starting with the whole numbers. So both of these are 1s, can't compare. First place value is 6, can't compare. The next place value, I have a 2 and a 4. Who's bigger? And hopefully you are saying that the spotted turtle sleeps deeper into the ground. Okay? And we have just 2 more parts and we're all finished here. So now we're going to move into numbers 36 to 38. Take a minute or two, copy these into your notebook and try to solve. Be sure you show any kind of work necessary. And then we have one more question after this. We have number 44 and we are all set. So we are now going to start the solutions. Hopefully you've had a chance to work on these and pause. So when comparing these, if I look at the very first place value, I first want to point out that both numbers are negative, so I want to look for the number closer to 0. Okay, now I'm going to look at the tens place. I have a 2 and a 4. So in the tens place, who's closer to 0, 2 or 4? And hopefully you're saying 2, so my sign is greater than. For the next set of numbers, the same sort of thing is happening. Both numbers are negative, so we can't compare there. The next digit's an 8, so we can't compare those. So my final digit, I'm comparing a 2 with a 1. So since we're both negative, who is closer to 0? And hopefully you're saying the 1. So my answer is less than. And for this last one, I have two fractions, and these actually kind of make me really happy because both denominators are the same. So I don't need to worry about common denominator. I have two choices here. I can make this improper mixed, or I can make this mixed number improper. And in fact, I think that's a little easier. So that's what I'm going to do. So improper, 1 7/8, you're going to do the merry-go-round trick. 8 times 1 is 8, and then 8 plus 7 is 15. So 1 7/8 is equal to 15 over 8. So if I look at these two, 1 and 2, hopefully you notice they are both exactly the same, so the answer is equal. All right, guys, pause here if you need any of this work. Otherwise, I'm going to the last question of your day. Okay, for this question, you missed 3 out of 10 questions on a science test, and you missed 4 out of 15 questions on a math test, quiz, sorry. Which quiz has the higher percentage of correct answers? This is actually a really tricky question because here they're telling you you miss 3 out of 10 and then 4 out of 5 questions on your math quiz. So these are the number of questions that you miss. Then the statement or the question you're going to answer is which quiz has a higher percentage of correct, get over here, of correct answers. So they're trying to trick you, but you're too smart for that, so don't let that happen to you. So we're going to make a little table here. Science. Let's think about this. If there were 10 questions, you got 3 wrong. How many did you get right? 7. So you got 7 right out of 10. Cool. Now we're going to go to math. So in math, if there were 15 questions and you got 4 wrong, how many did you get right? It's 11. So you got 11 right out of 15. So now what we're going to do is just convert these to decimals. From decimals, make them a percent, and that's going to be pretty easy. And we'll be able to figure out which quiz you did better on. So 7 out of 10, if we just multiply 10 by 10, we get 100. And if we multiply 7 by 10, we get 70. So you got a 70 out of 100, which is 70%. Now, if you wanted, you could have just divided 7 by 10. This is another way. 10 goes into 7, or 70, 7 times. So you get a decimal of 0.7, and from there you can move the decimal twice to the right to get 70%. So you have a choice, one way or the other. You do not need to do both ways. And the bottom way, just going to scroll down here for a minute. Let's see, we're going to do 11 divided by 15. So 15 cannot go into 11, so we add 0.0. So 15 goes into 110 7 times. So 7 times 15 is 105. 5 left over, add a 0 and bring down. 15 goes into 50 3 times, and that's going to be 45. There's going to be 5 left over. So if I add a 0 and bring down, you're going to notice 50 repeats again. So the 3 is going to keep going. So for my math test, I get a 0.73 repeating. If I move this twice to the right, like I showed you over here, this is roughly 73%. So which test did we score better on? We have 2 possible solutions or subjects. We have science at 70% or math at 73%. So your final solution is we scored better on the math test. Okay, and I didn't just write a solution without showing any work. Okay, you guys have been great. Thank you for your efforts. I will see you next time.